Hey guys, welcome back to Dream Analytica. Sorry it's been a while and it's hard to kind of keep a regular schedule of uploading YouTube videos, but I've been working really hard on the application that I built for Dream Analytica. At the end of the video, I'll give you an insider's look at what the app is looking like and how it's developing over time. Today, what I'm going to talk about is a dream interpretation, specifically my own dream that I'm going to interpret. And I think this will be a really good exercise to show you how I interpret my own dreams and that I treat my own dreams no differently than I would treat my clients or my family or friends' dreams when I analyze them for their psychological well-being. I do it for myself. There is one aspect of dream analysis that I don't think is commonly talked about at all, which is that analyzing your own dreams is very difficult. It is akin to trying to look at your own backside, because the dreams, they come from your unconscious, and what we know about the unconscious is its definition is that which is not conscious. So therefore, all the messages that come out of myself through my dreams are things about myself that I don't know. The hard time that I have when analyzing my own dreams is the fact that I don't have anyone else to ask, because I don't know of anyone, not in a bragging sense or an arrogant way of saying, but I don't know anyone who can even come close to interpreting dreams. I've taught people and I've tried to ask them to interpret my dreams. They come at a dead end because it's too difficult. The other thing too about dreams, and I'll get back to what I was saying before, is the thing about dreams is think of it like a puzzle or a game where each dream that you interpret correctly, meaning that it clicks with the individual, the preceding dreams get harder and harder to interpret, because like I said before, dreams only tell you what you don't know, what you're not conscious of. So then when you become conscious of them, that means there is new unconscious material that needs to be realized, and therefore it's harder because it's more, you get deeper and deeper into your psychology the more you interpret your dreams and you do it correctly. So going back to what I was saying about dream analysis being really difficult to do on your own, is you can't see your own backside. It's very difficult. Even just talking to someone about your dreams helps you interpret your dreams, because another person can easily see your backside, your blind spots, but you yourself cannot. That's one of the most important things to understand about dream interpretation, I think, is it's really useful to do it with someone else. It also helps you get out of your own head as well, because you're sharing your dream. You're not just sitting there thinking about it over and over again. Getting it out makes it real. You want to make your dream conscious. You really want to make the elements of the dream conscious. And once it becomes conscious, it becomes an experience, a lived experience. Your dream is no longer residing in the unconscious. The message is no longer being repressed. You answered the call, so to speak, and therefore you have become, I would say, more enlightened. You have become more conscious of your unconscious. So you're shining a light into the darkness. And that is what enlightenment is. It's about bringing that which is in the dark into the light. Yeah, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to talk about my dream, or I'm going to read you my dream and I'll analyze it. This dream, the reason I'm doing this particular dream is because it was so difficult. It took me several days to analyze and interpret, and it was, on the surface, doesn't look like that big of a deal, like that big of a dream, but the message that I got from it hit me like a brick, full of like positive emotion and negative. That's the thing. Healing, if you think about dreams and understanding dreams, it's really like a process of healing, of rebalancing. Now, what people get wrong about therapy is they think it should make you feel better. But my argument is, since when has healing ever made you feel better? Healing is actually the most painful part. Like if you break your arm or if you cut your finger on a saw, it's the healing part that is the most painful. But when you're done healing, you feel a lot better. And that's what most dreams are trying to convey, is that maybe the message in the beginning is very painful to hear, which in this dream was for me. It was painful to hear, but it made me feel a lot better in the end. There's just this liberating feeling. And I also want to relay another message, which is, how do you know a dream interpretation is done correctly? Okay, you can interpret a dream in a million different ways, and it's really up to you and the analyst to try to narrow it down to a point where you get that click. And what that click feels like is literally having a chain of keys of let's say 100 keys, and finding the right key for the right lock. And then when you find it, it's that feeling. It clicks. It just feels great, and it's like an aha moment, like you've discovered something. And it feels like that. It's like you've discovered gold. I don't really know if there's any feeling like it similar, other than maybe I'm a programmer. So when I program, whenever I work on a problem for a long time and then it finally works, that it's really similar to that feeling. It's just so good. It feels like there's a shot of adrenaline. You're excited. I don't know why you get so excited. Most of my clients, they just, like, when I tell them it clicks, they're in the beginning, they're just like, what are you talking about? But then when we do the interpretation and it clicks with them, you see their face, they light up. They're like, aha, even if the message of the dream is super painful, it resonates. It's so crazy. So I encourage you to look at your dreams and talk about it with other people. It doesn't have to be with an analyst. And I'm really trying to teach you guys how to interpret your own dreams to help you restore balance to your psychology. And that's what dream analysis is for. So you can experience that click. I mean, it's like going to Disneyland for the first time. It's like reading Harry Potter for the first time. It's so amazing. And then you realize you have this whole epic ahead of you for every dream that you have. The next day and the next day and the next day, you have this whole thing where you get to experience those feelings. So I apologize for digressing. I do tend to do that a lot. But let's get back to my dream. So I'm going to read the dream and then I'll interpret it as best I can. And I'm going off script, so my interpretation is just going to be completely out of my own intuition and my thought processes. So here we go. I dreamt of being in a dimly lit room at the end of a hallway. My sister was there. I had done something to a baby, mistreating and possibly abusing it. At first, I thought it was Leo, my nephew in real life. But as I continued to hurt him, he became more deformed and monstrous, his face twisting into a grotesque form. My sister looked on with disappointment. Eventually, the baby transformed into a gray cat that I recognized as Max, my beloved pet. I apologized, but Max hissed at me, though he was beginning to return to his usual beautiful self. Overwhelmed with guilt, I cried and I said I couldn't bear it anymore and wanted to leave the room. I let Max smell me one more time, but he hissed at me again. I went to the door with my sister and mother to give Max some space, knowing he just needed time. As we reached the door, we could hear some rowdy guys outside, which annoyed my sister because she didn't want to interact with them. I reassured her that I would handle it and go out to distract them, taking charge of the situation. So I don't know about you, but for me, the imagery is, obviously it's my dream, but the imagery is there. There's a lot of emotions going on. I'm not going to interpret it line by line. What I'm going to do is try to convey the message of the dream that it had for me, remember, your dreams are specifically designed and made for you, so the message is only for you. It's like a fingerprint. It's completely unique. The gist of this dream is what came to my realization or came to consciousness with this imagery was that, and I'll get a bit emotional here, though I might not express it because I'm a thinking type, so my emotions are buried down beneath, but I do feel a lot. This dream is about my inner child, so to speak. I wouldn't necessarily just allocate all of it to being the child. What I'm trying to communicate here is that there is a part of me that I have abused and that I have locked away at the very back room. And what blasted my mind, what really clicked with me is that all of us have this. We all have that part of ourselves that we abuse, that we mistreat, that we kick when it's down on the ground because it's so ugly. It's a disgusting thing within ourselves that we have shoved into the very recesses of our psychology, or metaphorically speaking, at the end of the hall, this room at the end of the hall. And I have been doing that my whole life up until this dream, until I realized that's a part of me. So, I mean, you can then you start to ask yourself, okay, wow, I'm horrible to myself. I abused myself, psychologically speaking. I saw myself as this disgusting, unlovable, putrid, disfigured, deformed creature that I just was abusing and kicking, and I was doing that to myself. And so naturally, and I've mentioned this before, is when you don't recognize that thing within yourself, or in other words, if it's unconscious, we tend to project it outwards. How I projected that outwards was I would always have these negative thoughts because of my thinking type. I have extroverted feeling in my inferior slot, which made me very self-conscious about what other people think, despite the fact that I think my type is the most independent type. We care very much about what the group thinks unconsciously. And so because it's in my fourth slot in its negative aspect, I would think no positive thoughts about what the group thought of me, but rather negative thoughts. So I was projecting my own internal disgust of myself onto other people of how they perceived me. So that's a very difficult thing to accept and to take in, because then you're like, okay, there's a part of me that I hate and that is disgusting. But the beautiful part about this dream is that disfigured creature turned into my pet, my animal, the love of my life, my cat. And I've also replaced the names, by the way. So Max in this dream is my cat in real life that I love to death. He's like my cat. I don't know how else to say it. I love him so much. So the disfigured creature turned into my beloved cat. And so what does that tell you? That the thing that I was beating this whole time just wanted to be loved. And I would cry, and I think I could cry. But yeah, so there's a terminology in Jungian psychology called the self. So the cat appeared, the self appeared as the cat that I love, and so therefore this dream is quite literally telling me to self-love and look, that little boy that you were abusing inside of you just wanted to be loved and is actually beautiful and he's your cat. Like, would you ever do that to your cat? And I'm like, God damn, like, no way. I'd never do that. And but the dream is not under your control, so it tells you another thing too, is like, up until now I was doing all of this unconsciously. I had no idea I was treating myself this way, and now I know, and now I can stop it because I have the image of my cat as a part of myself. So all I need to do whenever I start hating on myself is to think of my cat and to love my cat. And in doing so, I love myself. And I would protect that part of me as best I can. And in addition to that, free him from the room at the end of the hall and bring him into consciousness, so to speak. So the people as well in the dream could represent the collective, which is what resonated with me. My sister in the dream would be my anima, the feminine aspect within my psychology. And so apparently my psychology took my sister as this pure form and spiritual guide. Definition, the Latin word for soul is anima. So your anima acts as your guide to the self. So you can obviously see my anima introduced me to the self, which so happens to be my cat, surprisingly. So very intense emotions going on inside me right now. And I had this dream about a week ago, so it's not new, but it still has that emotional impact. Yeah, so what I was saying about the collective, as we reached the door, we could hear rowdy guys outside. So the rowdy guys outside probably represents the collective, and my sister, my soul. So I was afraid of judgment from the collective. But me, the ego, took charge, which I think is a very powerful move on behalf of my unconscious, meaning that I'm no longer afraid to face the collective as my true self, as my most authentic person, and to be able to protect my soul in this dream, my anima, by taking charge as a man. And that's what us men have to do to protect the feminine, right? We're protectors of the feminine. By the way, when I was having the dream and I told my sister, like, don't worry, I've got this. I'll distract them so you can walk by. It felt really good because it felt like I was taking charge in a healthy masculine way. Like, that's exactly what I think a healthy masculine does, right? To protect. I think first and foremost is to protect. And so I was protecting my own feminine side here from the collective, from collective judgments, from my inferior thoughts. So that's the interpretation. That's the overall message. If I could sum it up into a sentence, love yourself. That's really the gist of it. I would like to go back to what I said before about this being in everyone, how this dream enlightened me about people in general, everyone, family, friends, strangers, doesn't matter. We all have that one part of ourselves that we have pushed down into a dungeon, into a locked room, hidden away from the world, that we ourselves are abusing and are tormenting. I can't give advice. I shouldn't give advice, but I would just recommend that, because this dream is so powerful to me and it really changed everything psychologically. It's really just you just need to stop doing it, and you need to realize that that disfigured creature turns into gold, literal gold. Like, that part of you is your gold. Like, you don't want to do that to yourself. It doesn't deserve it. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve to be treated that way. So why are you treating yourself that way? Just as I didn't deserve to treat myself that way, and my dreams made me realize that. So that's the only recommendation that I would hand out is I hope you get to see that part of yourself and watch it transform before your very eyes, because it just wants to be loved and just wants to be understood, to be seen, right? We always say, I just want to be seen by people or whatever, but that's actually a projection. What you really want is to be seen by yourself. You're ignoring yourself. You're neglecting, you're repressing yourself. And that's what my dream told me, and it told me as well that it is not unique to myself. This is, dare I say, within everybody. I really think that we all have that creature, that disgusting creature that we have shoved down into a dungeon, locked away from the world. We just need to stop doing that, and you really need to love it and love yourself. You'll feel a lot better. I feel a lot better. This dream, like I said, on the surface didn't look like much, but holy crap, it's a lot to take in. And I think the very crazy powerful thing, if you think about it, that I'm doing dream interpretation, that I made this my career, and this dream came to me, it just seemed like it wanted me to convey this message to as many people as possible, because I think a lot of people are hurting, and that hurt is really a cause of our own doing. And so I think this is a bit crazy that I had this dream and now I get to share it with other people, even though it's a very personal dream and I'm a very private person and I don't really like to talk about myself too much. Even putting myself on in front of a camera and talking to myself is so awkward, but I'm doing it because I really think at least one person will find this helpful, and that's more than enough for me. I don't need to reach 1 billion people. If I just help one person by sharing how I analyze my dreams and how it helped me, I feel really fulfilled, and I get really beautiful comments from so many different people from all walks of life, all around the world, that comment on my YouTube, that comment on my webpage, that share feedback about my application on dream interpretation, and they're just the most heartfelt comments that I could ever ask for, and it really motivates me to keep going and tells me, as well as my clients and my family, like people, like they really do find it helpful. It really has helped them in a however small or big way it helped them. I really wanted to share this dream with you, and I hope you might find it useful as well. And I want to thank you for your patience, for sticking with me throughout this whole conversation, because I tend to digress. I'm an INTP, by the way, so we tend to go all over the place, and I'm going to watch this later to edit it, and I'm going to realize, oh shoot, I forgot to say this, or I forgot to say that, or I shouldn't talk so much. But I think most of what I'm saying now is coming from deep within, because it's my dream. It's literally from my unconscious. So yes, so I hope you found that useful. And then I do want to talk about my application. So the beautiful part about releasing my app on the App Store, I'm really working hard to release it for Android, but Google Play is just being obnoxious right now. They've made it really difficult for indie developers or lone developers to publish their application now. They just make it so difficult. Apple is nothing like that. Apple was really easy. But the really cool thing about the application is I get to update it constantly. So when you do purchase the app, I get to continually improve it based on the feedback that I get, as well as if I have a new idea or if I want to add new information or come across new dreams, I get to add that in, upgrade it. I'll show a bit of a preview of my application on the screen here too as well, so you can see get an idea of what it looks like, so you're not just blindly purchasing something. It's a really cool app, and I really enjoy programming, so I'm putting a lot of love and heart into it. Go ahead and check it out if you're interested. It teaches you about dreams, it teaches you about symbols, analytical psychology. There's a dream journal that's really cool, so you can rate your dream from a scale of 1 to 5, and then it just calculates the average and shows you if you're balanced or imbalanced with the score, and you can see it on the screen. Yeah, and please share your dreams if you would like to. You can share them in the comments, or you could share it on my website publicly or privately. So, I mean, if you're shy and you don't want to share the dream with the world and just personally with me so I can take a look at it and help you analyze it, there's a button there that lets you make it private. Just don't check the share publicly box, and it sends it to me privately. So yeah, share your dream. I love interpreting dreams. Obviously, this is what this channel is about. Go and check that out at dreamanalytica.com. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. It really helps me. Stay tuned for more. Thanks, guys.